Hi, everybody.
Hi everyone, my name is Lionel Radisson and I'm an artist, designer, and teacher. And here is Clément.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Clément Renaud. I'm a researcher and a developer working on creative projects in the world of publishing and technology.
So we created the Slashes project, released at the end of January this year.
Yes.
So Slashes is a generative art project about a collection of 1024 unique pieces created using code and blockchain.
Yeah. And we released the entire project on the Ethereum blockchain as an NFT earlier this year. So the release was in the January the 21st this year. And so we're going during the presentation. We're going to walk through a bit through the different steps of the project, from the genesis, the ID, the original ID, all the graphic design and the conception in terms of visual and graphics of the project, and then all the realization and work related to blockchain and crypto, creating the NFT, and also explaining a bit how it works. So the idea is we're going to show you different steps, and then to, to show you the project, what it is. And so the whole project is called Slashes. It's made by Lionel and I. We know each other for like a long time, like more than 10 years, and we have been working on various projects together, and especially with generative art and creative coding. And Lionel, as you can talk a bit about your work, maybe.
Yeah. So maybe before starting with the project, we should talk about our background. So I'm a designer and generative artist, and I created a lot of different work, experimenting with different platforms. I just love to learn and experiment, be critical with the technologies. And coding is like my passion. This is like painting for me. Um, a thing that I can do for myself. And so I created a lot of different works along the years to test different technologies and familiarize myself with them, um, to keep studying and share later as a teacher. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
go on.
And so you can see sample of the work here, of Lionel's work. There's tons of it. You can find online. Uh, Lionel works at the Macchio 135. That's his name. And to talk a bit about myself, I will just show one project. I've been working on various things with in academia or in more like business technology. And this is a project we started last year, I think. Well, it's a small publishing house where we publish things, starting to do books as NFT as books. And this is a book we compiled from lots of testimony and essays that were written during the first lockdown in Wuhan when COVID started. And then we decided to release that on the blockchain, as people say, to keep it, because I think it's an important piece of history now, because it was one of the first document about the early days of COVID in Wuhan. But then that's just an example of what I do. So I use different contract, and so I also spend a lot of time doing actual like technical work for our blockchain projects, and that's why we decided to work in combination um, together with Lionel on this project, because and this is the first graphics that was created by Lionel. This was a long time ago. We knew each other, so it was in 2012.
Yeah, this kind of shapes that are familiar and slashes are kind of a signature for my work and that I'm using often. it was also used in GIF export and GIF animation, as well as on single static pieces as well, like the Tosei series, which is on Foundation. And for slashes, so I started by creating a what do you say, a prototype using JavaScript, because I'm mainly using JavaScript to code my works. So I started by creating a prototype to define the different shapes that we could have, the different palettes as well, the colors, and the different features of the whole piece. Then Clement and I ported the whole project to the Solidity language, which is used to create smart contracts on the Ethereum blockchain.
Yes, maybe I can explain a bit this. So the one of the novelty in this project was we generate graphics like that, but instead of using the browser, like the internet way of creating graphics, I would say, rendering them in the browser using JavaScript. What we use is the entire Ethereum blockchain itself. So there's instead of the word program we use to draw the slashes is a smart contract, and so this is a contract is a it's a bit impossible to read. It's kind of complex because there's a lot of limitations. So Ethereum is a big network which is used for many different things. But you can execute code and have programs running inside Ethereum, inside what is called the Ethereum virtual machine. But even though it's a very huge computer, because there's like thousands or millions of computers connected to it, and it's not very powerful. So you cannot do expensive or very big computation because there's a limitation, which is called the gas. Is the amount of computation. The gas is the unit you use to compute. When you do a simple operation, then there's a different cost, and there's a limitation of cost of how costly one computation can be. And so when you want to create graphics, it's actually quite expensive in terms of because we have to draw all the colors and all the shapes and all the different positioning, etc. So there's quite a lot of calculation. So it was challenging to actually port this from a familiar environment, which is just render an SVG in a browser, in a web browser, and
Yeah,
port
maybe
this.
a few words about. Oh,
Yes.
sorry. Maybe a
Yeah.
few words about SVG. If you come back to the observable notebook.
Yeah.
So yeah, for this graphics, we are using SVG, which means scalable vectorial graphics. So this is a markup language which is used and recognized in the browser to render a graphic that can be scaled at any size perfectly. And so with the Solidity language, we went for this technology as well to output SVGs, since SVG are just text files as well that are interpreted by the browser to render the different shapes. So what we did was to recreate a way to render those graphics, selecting different colors, the different path, the different shapes that could be shown on the background as well. And we also recreated a pseudo-random number generator in Solidity to find again this randomness that could be generated for each different tokens. And yeah, this was quite challenging.
Yeah, in terms of it was a like kind of technical challenge, and then the idea was so by doing this, it's like using a huge computer that is has a language inside that is used to run the contract is made for financial transaction or things like that. And then we decided, okay, let's use it to draw, actually draw. And then so we made this generator of so like here a bit you can generate any number of different shapes or different slashes, so any number of graphics. Every time you run a different transaction, you generate one. And then we decided to create a token, NFT, using this generator. And so we create not one but 1,024 tokens that we open on the market to sell. So we did that in January, and then everything was sold after the release. And so as today the contract is still there. So this is I can show you maybe the marketplace is a bit more. So these are all the tokens that have been generated. So what happens is when someone bought a token, it's called mint. When someone created it, they paid the price we defined to mint that token. And then when the token was minted, a unique graphics were created. And then the graphics will never change, and it's generated using our SVG contract. And then the graphic will never change, but the token can be traded now. So you can own one graphic, I mean one token that linked to the graphic. And then there's an open market. Here is OpenSea, but there's different websites, that listed all the tokens where you can buy and sell them. You can also just keep them. Lots of people, they just like the work, so they just storing them and keeping them. And you can see, and this is the contract. This is another contract. We have one contract to draw the SVG and one contract to actually do all the, I would say, the marketplace. So the creation, the mint, so to create the token, and then all the exchanges, transfer them, mint them. You can. So this is another contract. So we wrote the two contracts entirely by ourselves, yes,
Maybe
and so you can see that after if this is the analysis I did after the mint. So once all the tokens were minted, then there are some features of the token that are more rare. So for instance, there are less, I would say, I know it's random, but less blue token or less token that have this or that specific feature. And then as
maybe we could
all the tokens have been minted, yeah,
maybe we can open a token on OpenSea to display the different features.
Oh yeah, the different features. Yeah.
Yeah. So each token has a list of like 10 different features that are the scales, the shape types that is in the background color. There is a background opacity, which will render the wall shape differently, the different palettes and the wideness of the shapes. So each features have a different probability to appear, which make certain combination of features really rare compared to others. And so this is what Clement did in the rarity notebook as a rarity analysis.
Yeah, it was just a small analysis. Well, the idea is like so you have all these tokens that have different. So this is all we generated the randomness in the contract. So all these properties are like randomly attributed. This is, by the way, this is all like stuff we created. Like it's not defined anywhere. It's just us that we defined it in order to generate our shapes, and then that is just the result of the generation. So I took all the generation and all the generated token and just look into what is rare. And but I have to say, like, rarity is just a very complicated topic, and this was I just it's just very tricky. But it was just to have an overview of all the various tokens that are. So some are more rare, some are more like common, I would say. And then of course, it has an influence after on the secondary market on prices, because people are looking in for the more rare, but that more, I mean, they're not necessarily one we will like when, I mean, visually attractive or visually pleasing, more pleasing. They're just more rare in terms of statistics. So it was just analysis, but it gives you a sense of uh, of what sort of like work goes into generating heat. And so first we had to define all this feature, and then then the tokens can be generated from the SVG contract. And then one thing, yeah, maybe we can note before the conclusion is um, yeah. So there were during the because the contract is uploaded on Ethereum, then you cannot change it. You cannot change anything. And there were a small glitch into the contract, and as you see here, the number is not correct. And then so we are planning to do an upgrade of a new batch of slashes that will just fix this mistake. And then we also like introduce maybe uh, some more um, some different shapes, so the slashes that you are seeing, and maybe arcs, which is a new kind of graphics that we are currently working on. And so this is and yes, so this will be open soon uh, for sale and for mint. We will release everything quite soon, and continue to discuss the
Yeah,
process.
not that the 1024 tokens from slashes were minted. We are planning to use them again in a meta collection which will be called shapes, which will contain different type of collection, and where people will be able to swap their tokens from one collection to another. So this is it for the next few months.
Yep.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much for. Hopefully, it's interesting for you guys. And if you have any question, anything, just reach out for us on Twitter, email, anywhere. Yeah, glad to be here. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.